I've died 5 times in my life. I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been hanged 3 times. Each time they hang me to around about.
What the hell? Oh! Again, he had 2 steel pipes in his hand, 10 feet away from where I was sleeping.
Genuinely got me a bit worried now. The wind's unbelievably strong.
I heard something down there crunching.
The most unpredictable camping encounters happen when a peaceful trip suddenly turns hostile. From a camper face-to-face with a massive grizzly bear to a solo hiker cornered at night by an armed stranger, would you have known how to escape? On February 10, 2025, Instagram user Faraputri Muliani uploaded a frightening video from a remote area of the Sri Lankan wilderness. In the footage, Farah visits Dialuma Falls and decides to swim in the cold, clear water. Surrounded by beautiful natural scenery, the location appears to be the perfect place to relax and enjoy the peaceful environment. However, the calm moment quickly turns into a life-threatening situation.
Going after my injury at the sea. Why?
Okay. Oh man.
No, he was pulling me down. Oh God.
Thank you. Sorry, okay, go.
Oh God. Yes, I'm good. It's just that he was pulling me down. I just saved someone's life. Someone was drowning. Drama! Are you okay? What happened? What happened?
I did not see any. I have one nice.
Can you swim?
I can go like that.
No. Can you swim? Okay. Baby, I'm sorry. Did you see what just happened? Yeah, the guy almost drowned. Didn't you see? He couldn't swim and he got to the deep part of the pool. Okay, and then the friends were like, help. Yeah, me too. I barely could understand them. No, and I just went. I was like, where's this guy? It's dark, and I saw, because he was deeper on that side. I know, you could do something. Yeah, I know, I don't know. I think he just freaked out. I think he just panicked. Yeah. I think I need to cool down all this drama.
What begins as a simple swim suddenly becomes a desperate attempt to save someone. Farah suddenly notices a man drowning nearby. He had entered one of the waterfall pools without realizing how powerful the current was. Within seconds, he became trapped and was unable to pull himself out. Without hesitation, Farah jumps into the water. She fights against the strong current, reaches the struggling man, and successfully pulls him back towards safety. Thankfully, both Farah and the man escape without injuries. Even so, the footage is disturbing because it shows how little time he may have had left. If Farah had waited just a few more seconds, or if she had not been nearby, the outcome could have been completely different. Water around waterfalls can appear peaceful, while dangerous currents move beneath the surface. Do you think Farah's quick reaction was the only reason this man survived? She had only planned to step outside for 5 minutes with her dog and a cup of coffee. But just 100 meters from the campsite, a dangerous situation began unfolding around her. This footage was recorded in Kananaskis, Alberta, by a woman who only intended to leave her campsite briefly. That morning, she grabbed her coffee, leaving the spoon inside the mug, and took her dog for a short walk along the gravel driveway near the campsite. They were both exhausted after hiking the previous day, so she had no plans to go far. Her idea was simple: walk about 100 meters, turn around, and head straight back to camp. However, as she started returning, something nearby made her stop. A grizzly bear was standing close to the driveway. The animal did not immediately charge, but its behavior still seemed unusual. It appeared curious, extremely focused, and especially interested in her dog. She had seen bears in the area before, but something about this encounter felt different. Her instincts told her to start recording, and only moments later, she understood why.
No. Go away. No. Hey. Hey. No. Hey. No. No. Hey. Stop it. Stop. Stop. No. Hey. Hey. Stop. Stop it. Go away. Go. Enough.
For the next several seconds, she remained surprisingly calm. She held her dog close, slowly backed away, and tried to stay composed as the bear moved within only a few meters of her. Realizing she needed to create more distance, she used the only thing she had available. She threw her coffee mug farther down the driveway.
Hey! Dad! Dad! Hey! Stop! Get! Go! Go! Stop it!
The noise distracted the bear and pulled its attention away long enough for her to move. As the animal turned toward the mug, she began running. But when she looked back, she saw the bear running after her. She eventually reached the campsite and rushed into one of the tents with her dog. Other people nearby started shouting and waving their arms to distract the animal. Somehow, she managed to get inside safely. She stayed hidden for the next 15 minutes while the grizzly remained nearby. Eventually, it moved away and later began chasing a moose. A conservation officer arrived afterward to investigate the incident. According to the woman, he initially struggled to believe her story. Then he watched the footage. The bear was so large that its head was nearly at the same height as hers, while standing on all fours. The woman is only 5 feet 2 inches tall. After living in the area for years and having several encounters with grizzlies, she said she had never seen one behave like this before. She handled the situation remarkably well. She stayed calm, kept control of her dog, and used the only item she carried to distract the bear long enough to escape. Dogs can attract a bear's attention through their scent, movement, and barking, which may cause the animal to focus more intensely on the encounter. Do you think the bear was simply curious? Or was she only seconds away from a dangerous attack? Camping with Champion is a YouTube channel run by camper Todd Champion. His videos mainly focus on camping trips and outdoor adventures. In footage uploaded on August 30, 2025, Todd begins a stealth camping trip beneath a group of pine trees beside a busy highway. The hidden location is directly across from a Lowe's store. Todd carefully sets up his campsite so it blends with the surrounding trees. After completing the setup, he settles in for the night and starts preparing food, believing he has found the perfect spot. For some time, nothing unusual happens. However, as the evening continues, an unexpected visitor completely changes the experience.
That guy's back again. He just said, hey, standing over there. I was just trying to get some cool scooter footage.
You need no person to count with you?
Nah, I'm good, bro. He offered to film me, but I politely declined. He also asked if I wanted anyone else to camp with me tonight. Like, what?
Throughout the night, Todd is approached several times by a man claiming to be an Iraq War veteran. The stranger discovers Todd's hidden campsite and stays nearby. During their conversations, he says he suffers from PTSD and talks about violent episodes from his past. Todd initially tries to remain friendly and respectful. However, the man keeps returning and gradually moves deeper into Todd's personal space.
That guy's back. You hungry?
No.
I got a sandwich here.
I've died 5 times in my life. I've shot, I've been stabbed, I've been hanged 3 times. Each time they hang me to about dead and they hit the road.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me walk down this way.
Got any kids or anything?
I got 4 kids.
How old?
Twin boys, 13, 2 girls, 16 and 15. Don't miss the little things in life. Just them growing up, man.
Yeah.
I miss mine.
I used to be a truck driver and I quit because my kids were little. Trying to do this, maybe I can do something better, you know. My wife, I've been married for 15 years. Before I met my wife, dude, I was bad. And I probably wouldn't still be around if I hadn't met my wife. That way. Or if they call. Good meeting you, brother. See ya. So he just left I'm packing up my stuff and I'm getting out of here.
The repeated encounters begin making Todd uncomfortable. After hearing about the man's previous violent behavior, Todd no longer feels safe enough to remain at the campsite overnight. Instead of waiting to see what could happen, Todd quietly packs up his equipment and leaves the area before the situation becomes more serious. When a stranger repeatedly ignores personal boundaries, their next actions can become difficult to predict. Once the man knew exactly where Todd would be sleeping, do you think leaving was his only safe option? On December 1st, 2024, the YouTube channel Cora and the Explorer shared one of its most challenging camping adventures. In the video, Keith and his dog Cora headed to Pavey Ark in England's Lake District for an overnight wild camping trip. Keith was no stranger to this kind of journey. He had plenty of experience, carried the proper gear, and felt confident crossing difficult mountain terrain. Even so, this trip became far more dangerous than he had anticipated.
Hello and welcome to K&C Outdoors. I'm Keith and this here is Cora, my golden doodle. So we're out today in the Lake District, in my most favourite part of the world, and actually the most favourite part of the Lake District as well, which is Dungeon Gill. Nice, and we'll have a good time, but it's been quite damp today, which isn't a bad thing really, because I'm trying out some new gear.
At first, everything seemed to be going smoothly. Keith was in good spirits, the scenery around him was spectacular, and he looked completely at ease in the mountains. As he continued climbing, the weather started to shift. Dark clouds rolled overhead, and the ground quickly became wet, slippery, and cold. Despite the worsening conditions, Keith pressed on, and eventually found a suitable place to pitch his tent for the night. At the time, he had no idea how difficult the next several hours would become.
So we're in the tent, and I would say this is the worst pitch I have ever had. I just couldn't tell with the lay of the land, and it is so on the slant. I just want to roll that way. I've got that I can shove onto my bed to try and level it out a bit, even if I can't level up the tent. Pants and my booties and my insulating jacket and everything on, because it's really gone cold, and the wind's starting to get up now. It took quite on me. I'm going to rest. Cora's just had her dinner and she's a bit cold, I think, so I'm going to give her some cuddles and get her nice and warm. And no, I'm not giving you any attention, I'm very sorry. Oh, okay, she needs a love. I'm going to have to go. I'll see you later.
After nightfall, Keith cooked dinner while recovering from the exhausting hike. He expected to spend a quiet night resting inside the tent. Instead, the wind steadily intensified. The tent began shaking violently, and the storm outside seemed to grow stronger with every passing minute.
Oh, the wind's really getting up now. It's got really up a bit concerned. I have no idea how strong they are, but it's really strong. The tent's getting battered. They come here up in the parts that need to be held well, so hopefully it'll hold up well through the night. These little moments of calm, and then the gusts just start in again. So I've just put my little wind meter out. I don't know if it's showing, but there you go. It's showing at the highest with the gusts, 70 mile an hour. But the tent, as I say, the double poles, it seems okay. I'm certainly aware that we might have to bail if it gets any worse. Don't want to, we're quite high up, a long way down. Oh, jeez. See you soon. Genuinely got me a bit worried now. The wind's unbelievably strong. I'm hoping we don't have to bail, because it's a long way down to Langdale. This is the most worried I've ever been camping. It really is gusting strong now. I'll keep it up to date as we go along, but now it's a worry now, it really is. The weather's still horrendous. It's 5 AM and the tent's just completely getting hammered by the wind. Just waiting for it to get light, and then we're going to pack up and have the treacherous walk down, because it's going to be difficult walking, I think, in this wind. Not bothering making a drink or anything, just going to get off as soon as it's light.
Keith remained inside the tent with Cora for hours, waiting for the first light of morning. Leaving during the storm would have meant attempting a hazardous descent in dangerous conditions. Once the weather finally eased, Keith quickly packed up his gear and began descending the mountain. Keith and Cora eventually made it back safely without any injuries. However, the trip could easily have ended very differently if the weather had continued to deteriorate. Exposed mountain campsites provide very little shelter from powerful winds, placing constant stress on a tent throughout the night. Do you think Keith made the right decision by waiting until daylight, or should he have attempted to leave sooner? Explorer Davey from the channel Davey's Dash documents solo camping trips throughout southern Ontario. His videos usually focus on quiet campsites, simple camp meals, and peaceful nights under the open sky. However, on June 8, 2025, a camping trip in southern Ontario, Canada ended with him abandoning his campsite before midnight.
Yeah, this is my night. Just waiting on the
After hiking to a remote spot beside a small creek, Davey decided to cowboy camp. He laid his sleeping gear directly on the ground instead of pitching a tent. The creek flowed only a short distance from where he planned to sleep, while trees surrounded the campsite on every side.
one thing you can't do is trust a fucking gibber. So let's go.
Davey cooked a simple meal, secured his food, and settled beneath the night sky. Without a tent, only his sleeping bag and camping gear separated him from the surrounding forest. As daylight disappeared, the sounds of the woods gradually replaced the noise from the trail. Before long, the entire area felt completely deserted.
I don't know. I am jacked up obviously right now. I am jacked up right now. So, is there a place that we can just camp out? Like even just off the side of the fucking trail here. I want to sleep out, man. That's all I want to do. And how am I 45 minutes away from town? Yes, there's a highway over here. You can see that car there, probably. But I'm 45 minutes out of town. Where is he getting his resources? And how is he so jibbed out? Because he's on methamphetamine. And that's the problem. So, even if I did knock him out, he'd wake back up and just come attack me again. So, that's a losing deal. But
Around 11 p.m., Davey suddenly woke to the sound of someone yelling. Still inside his sleeping bag, he looked up and saw an unfamiliar man standing about 10 feet away. The stranger was holding 2 metal pipes. The man kept shouting, demanding to know why Davey was camping there, and ordering him to leave. Instead of walking away or continuing down the trail, the stranger remained beside the campsite. Davey had to make a split-second decision while half asleep and alone in the darkness. He decided leaving immediately was the safest option.
and getting some kip. All right, well, I guess we're shoving off. But that motherfucker had better fucking watch the fuck out, because all I should do is just got up and fucking throttle him. But again, he had 2 steel pipes in his hand, 10 feet away from where I was sleeping. And yeah, that's it's not gonna work for me right now. So let's just fucking go.
Rather than confronting the stranger, Davey focused on getting out of the area as quickly as possible. Recording the encounter was not his priority. He later explained that reaching for his camera took time because protecting himself came before filming. After gathering his gear in the dark, Davey used his GPS to relocate the trail. He then left the campsite behind. Even after reaching the trail, he did not stop nearby. Davey kept walking until several kilometers separated him from the stranger. Only then did he unpack his equipment again.
So not a big deal, but yeah, we'll start getting packed up here, get out of here. Especially because now I know that like this is somebody's farmer's field. It's time to get off this field. But as far as it goes for last night, every part of me just wanted to throat punch that guy. I mean, honestly. Here's the thing I know from volunteering with the homeless and drug addicted and that, is that I obviously stumbled into somebody's homeless camp and I didn't know it. Because I never would have put myself in that situation. That's not why I'm out, is to go to a homeless camp. I'm out to do my own camp and then go home. But where there's one, there's never just one. There's gotta be more. There's somebody's lurking in the darkness, somebody's hiding behind, and it's their territory, obviously. So they know the lay of the land a lot better than I do, especially that time of night. I didn't even know how to get the hell out of there. I had to work it out with my GPS actually to find the damn trail, because it was like my head was like why does this guy got pipes and why is it 11 o'clock at night and he's 10 feet away from me? And thank God I woke up. I woke up before he actually like started battering me with those pipes. So thankfully I woke up. But where there's one, there's many. I know that.
The following morning, Davey reflected on the encounter. He believed he might have unknowingly camped near an encampment, which could explain why the stranger wanted him gone. Looking back, Davey felt leaving was safer than arguing with someone who already had the advantage in the darkness. He abandoned his original campsite and spent the rest of the night several kilometers away. Someone holding weapons at close range can take control of a situation before the other person has time to respond. Davey may never know why the stranger approached him, but do you think leaving immediately was his safest choice? On December 7, 2024, CJ Faison uploaded footage from one of his investigations into haunted and cursed locations throughout America. That night, he packed his van and traveled alone into New Jersey's Pine Barrens during a new moon. For over a year, CJ had heard rumors about possible cult activities happening somewhere deep within the forest. He entered the area by himself to find out whether there was any truth behind those stories. While leaving the area, CJ noticed a Jeep arriving nearby. A woman stepped out, and what she left behind seemed connected to the very reason he had traveled there.
They're stopping and they're pulling in. They're looking at me. I gotta get out. There's another car up here. Way up there. The Jeep's backing up. Let me go up this way just a little bit. I'm gonna turn around. That Jeep literally was just the lead. There's a lady. There's another vehicle up here off to either the left or the right. I know y'all can't see it because I got my fisheye lens on. Sounds like that Jeep's going somewhere else. Alright, I'm coming up here on the back up on the place where the Jeep actually stopped and got out. And who knows, like maybe that was like a drop-off location for something. She walked past this sign right here. Did something. There's a mask right here. A very hairy mask.
The Jeep stopped beside a sign and the woman walked past it before kneeling down and placing something on the ground. After she drove away, CJ approached the exact spot where she had stopped. Next to the sign, he found a hairy mask sitting on the ground. He stood over it, trying to figure out if the location was being used as some type of meeting or drop-off point.
I don't have a clue how in the world I missed this guy, but I missed him. I never even saw him walk back to his car. All right, everybody, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna go find out what this guy was doing down that trail. I'm gonna hurry up in case there's someone else that comes or is coming for some sort of reason. That was strange. That was really, really strange. I'm gonna grab my flashlight really quick, take a quick swig of my drink. Whew, this is dumb. Let's do this.
At the same time, a man walked along a nearby trail. CJ never saw him come back, even though he had been keeping an eye on the area. The man seemed to vanish into the forest. Wanting to understand what was happening, CJ changed the battery in his camera, grabbed his flashlight, and entered the dark trail alone. He followed the same path the man had taken, unsure if someone else could still be nearby. Farther along the trail, his flashlight revealed something attached to a tree. The discovery immediately made him stop.
What in the f*** is that? What the hell? Disney on Ice? Oh! Hey, I'm just, I'm ghost hunting out here. I literally don't mean any harm.
A Disney sword had been pushed into the bark of a tree in the middle of the Pine Barrens. Before CJ could figure out why it was there, A voice from somewhere in the darkness around him told him to leave. CJ quickly explained that he was only a YouTuber investigating paranormal locations, and that he was not there to cause trouble. His reaction sounded like someone who needed the unseen person to understand his intentions. Later, CJ returned to the trail alone to examine something he had noticed earlier. When he reached the area, it became clear that someone else had visited the location after he left.
It's eerily quiet back here. That was towards the van. That was towards the van. Oh shit, I don't like this feeling. I feel like something's behind me, but I know there's probably nothing behind me. I'm telling myself that so I feel myself better. Alright, so the sword's gone. So I don't... Oh, what the hell's that? So, I'm not trying to be a dumbass here or anything, but, you know, the sword's gone. Shit.
The trail remained completely quiet. Then CJ heard a noise coming from the direction of his van and started moving faster. As he continued walking, he felt as though someone could be following him from behind. When he reached the exact spot where the object had been placed earlier, it was gone. Someone had removed it while CJ was away from the area. An object cannot simply disappear by itself, meaning someone may have been moving through the forest without CJ noticing. Do you think these events were connected, or had he unknowingly entered a place where strangers were already keeping watch? On June 26, 2026, Tommy and Rachel uploaded a video to their channel Oreo Speedwagon RT. They document unexplained encounters and investigations in remote forests throughout the Appalachian Mountains. Their footage is raw and unfiltered. They enter locations after dark that most people would avoid carrying cameras to capture anything they might encounter. During this investigation, something hidden inside a dense patch of mountain laurel caught their attention. The strange activity began before the group had even reached the area.
Very dense,
Right.
very thick in there.
Right.
This is a natural little gap right here. It's
Right.
no name,
Right.
but this is a little gap. But I sat on a log right over there. Something knocked on a tree down yonder. You heard birds scatter. That's why I want you to come right here.
Gotcha.
As it gets darker, this is how you hunt, so you get in before dark, quiet, and that's
What we've been pretty quiet over
Yeah.
here, talking a little bit, but not
yeah,
much.
that's all right. Well, you got birds talking.
Right.
Their local guide, Ronnie, had been sitting alone on a nearby log while waiting for the others to arrive. While he was there, the bird suddenly flew away. A loud knock then came from somewhere beyond the tree line. Shortly afterward, Ronnie felt something large moving through the vegetation directly behind him. He never saw what caused it. He could only hear the movement, feel the disturbance through the brush, and sense that something might have been watching him. The investigation had not even officially started yet. The area had already shown several disturbing signs.
I heard something down there crunching.
Do you?
Ain't gonna hurt anything. Just sit here and be quiet for a second.
Something's down there.
While the group was talking, Tommy suddenly stopped after hearing something pushing through the brush below them. The sound was close enough that they could estimate where it was coming from. It seemed intentional, and everyone became quiet at almost the same moment. They stayed still and listened carefully. Another sound soon reached them. It was different from the first one, and Tommy immediately noticed the difference. He could not identify it or connect it to anything he would normally expect to hear in that environment. It was unusual enough to make the experienced group stop talking and completely focus on the surrounding forest.
I don't know what that was. There was something right in here. For real. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it had a heavy footstep. I don't think a deer will be up here in the mountain laurel. I don't know. Anyway, I'm coming.
Ow.
I'm just gonna leave this in the video. I know there's a lot of y'all who like to go through these.
Then a deep extended groan came from the darkness directly behind them. Tommy and Ronnie both reacted instantly without needing to exchange a glance. Neither man could confidently explain it as wind-moving branches or any familiar animal. Something hidden in the forest had created the sound, but its source remained unknown. During their walk back to the vehicle, branches started snapping again. This time the sounds were heavier and more consistent. They seemed to follow the group's pace through the mountain laurel on both sides of the trail. The vegetation was extremely thick, making it difficult to understand how a four-legged animal could move through it with that much speed and force. As they continued toward the vehicle, both the camera battery and Tommy's headlamp dropped below 10%. Their equipment was running low while something continued moving beside them through the brush. The group eventually made it back to the vehicle safely. Tommy viewed the night as confirmation of the activity they had hoped to capture. They had recorded the tree knock that happened before the investigation started, the unexplained groan from the darkness, and the heavy footsteps that seemed to follow them during their exit. They planned to return with stronger equipment for another investigation. Dense vegetation can distort sounds and make their direction difficult to determine, but repeated movement that matches a person's pace is harder to dismiss. Do you think an animal was pushing through the mountain laurel, or was something intentionally following the group? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.